Good morning. Well, good morning to me. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Hello. This week is a very, very busy week, and there's no interview this week, and there's no travel video this week because I just can't fit it into my schedule. In fact, because I am so busy this week, I haven't even brushed my hair or put on pants. This is cropped out. But because I am so busy this week, the only video that I'm going to do is this one, where as I am making breakfast, because I have to go to work in like an hour, I am going to be talking about what I do to survive a busy week. For me, busy weeks are the same weeks that I have deadlines on, and let's just wait until my egg cooks to finish crackling. Cool, so now I've got that all down packed and have breakfast, which by the way is eggs and snow toast and iced tea that I made yesterday. Which by the way, if you ever want iced tea, it's literally just black tea, sugar, and a refrigerator. That's all. So that brings me to my first point, which is, well, never neglect your food. Always having, I wrote down a list of things the other day. I wrote down fast food, but not as like McDonald's or anything like that. Like, you want to be eating relatively healthy because you've got a lot of things to do, so you're gonna need to keep up your energy. But on the other hand, you've got a lot of things to do, so you're not gonna have enough time to eat. So you're gonna wanna have a lot of recipes in your head of, like, for dinner and breakfast, I'd say put the most effort into, and lunch, make a sandwich, pack some nuts. I think the other day I went to lunch, I went to work, and I had a can of peaches and an orange and a packet of nuts. Like, have those things on hand so you can bring them in and you can have your lunch, and it's quick and easy and healthy, and you're still eating because you need to keep your energy levels up. So things like eggs on toast, baked beans on toast has the same amount of protein as meat. You know, all those fun things. For dinner, take the time out. Here's the thing about when you're busy. Quite often when you're busy, well, when I'm busy anyway, I'm busy because I procrastinate. Like, I'm busy, but I still manage to fit in procrastination time. So take that 30 minutes of procrastination time and put it into making yourself a nice dinner. So make yourself a stir fry, or put something in the oven and go do something. Like, very important. Eating, probably the top of most important things to do when you're busy, or when you're not busy. Just remember to eat, guys. So my next tip is a little bit counterproductive. Trying to figure out the best way to do this without making too much noise. But it's stay on top of the little things. So if you need to procrastinate well. So there's 2 times where you can do this type of procrastination. And this is like, you know, cleaning up the dishes, doing your washing. Not things like, say if you have a room that you haven't cleaned up in like 2 years. Now is not the time to clean up that room. Like, because that's just procrastination. But things like doing the dishes, doing your washing, all of those things that will affect your mental health later, you need to keep on top of those. So, like, doing the dishes so that you can keep eating. Or doing your clothes so that washing your clothes so you don't end up in a rush to work and realizing that your clothes are not how you want them to be, like clean, because you never want to go to work with the dirty uniform. So all of those little things. there is an optimum time to do this. There are 2 times when you should be doing these things. One of them is if you have shift work like me. Well, okay, so there's 2 times where I find that the most productive to do these things. So one of them is when I have shift work, sort of like that hour before the shift, which funnily enough is now. Well, the hour before I have to get ready for a shift. At that point, I always feel like there's not enough time to do anything of substance. So that is when I do the fun things like cleaning and putting stuff away, because you don't have time to do anything else. And then when you get home, it's done and you don't have an excuse to not do your project or YouTube channel or anything like that. The other time to do it is if you're just absolutely feeling like you can't do your work at the moment. Like if you've sat down and, I don't know, depends on what type of work you're doing. If you've sat down and stared at this computer screen for half an hour, or you keep clicking on the next YouTube video and go, oh, I'll do it later, or all those fun things, like, or even if you just wake up and you know that you've got to do work and you just feel bad about it, then distract yourself by doing something else, like cleaning. Although there is a downside to that, and that is sometimes you just can't bring yourself to do it. I don't know about other people, but for me, deadlines aren't scary. And that's a problem because it means that sometimes I just can't bring myself to do things despite a deadline. So like, I'll know that I have an exam due tomorrow and I need to study or something due to the next day. And I'll just go, yeah, but... And it's just not stressed me out enough to actually do anything. And then you just feel so tired that you don't even, like, when you're procrastinating from this procrastination example. But sometimes when it does work, useful procrastination is a thing. It exists. I would, however, say that the number one thing of how to keep sane when you're in your busiest state is to stay productive. So this only really relates to if you're busy and your busyness isn't like set times. So for instance, when I'm busy at work, I don't have to be productive because I go to work and then I come home from work, and then the only busyness I have really is the fact that I'm going to work all the time. And I just need to make time for myself to relax, and that's a thing that you have to do. But when your busyness includes something that you are creating, the most important thing is to actually stay creative with that element, because otherwise, once again, it's the procrastination thing. You end up spending more time on this project than what you want to spend time on, and you're not getting anywhere. So the way that I avoid that is through different methods of actually getting things done slowly. So there's a few things. The first one is for essay writing, or even video making actually, is skeleton plan as much as you can. Pretty much until your essay is written. Or with videos, if I don't have time to film my video or to work on my video, I have this little journal and I'll just write down notes and I'll start planning what it is, because when I get to doing my video then, it actually runs a lot smoother with how I'm working it out. And with my essay, if I just start a skeleton plan, so I start with my, introduction, conclusion, etc., and then like literally just skeleton planning it almost down to the sentence, but like you can spread that out over a longer period of time with shorter segments. Which brings me to my second section, which is shorter segments, 5 minutes at a time. If you mentally cannot bring yourself to do a task, this is something that one of my friends taught me, which is basically just work on it for 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is easy. If 5 minutes is too hard, 3 minutes of just, if it's writing, just word vomit writing, or in my case, because I don't like to word vomit because I'll never go back and edit it, just skeleton plan. If it's creating, painting, just sit down, paint for a bit, like just 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then take a break, 2-minute break, 3 minutes on, 2-minute break, 3 minutes on. Because it's just, you can mentally bring yourself to do something for 3 minutes. Like, it's not that long of a period of time. And that will get you started. And the thing about getting started is, with almost anything, is, well, for me, not speaking for everyone, you start to get into it. Your mind starts ticking over and you start to think of different things. Like, if by the end of that 3 minutes, you're partway through a sentence and you're like, oh, I need to finish the sentence. You're like, fuck yeah! Then your mind has started. So using those small amount of times to actually get things rolling. Which also means using the small amount of times before deadlines. Well, not deadlines, before times that you know that you can't work. So for me, I woke up early for this, because I knew I would have to film and everything. But just this chunk before work, normally I would not spend the hour before getting ready for work doing anything, because in my mind, that's not an hour where you have time to do things. But the thing is it is an hour you have time to do things. It's not often an hour that you have time to complete the things you're doing. But if you work in that hour, so I do know that sometimes if you work in that hour, it gets really annoying, because by the end of the hour, if you're really into it, you're like, it's stressful. But what it does mean is that you've gotten ahead. And it means that when you come back, your mind knows what it's doing. And you can go in and work on it. And then there's been so many times in my life that I thought I was busy, that I thought, there's no way I can get this done. I've only got 6 hours to do this. And I thought, oh no, this deadline, I'm stressed and I've got so much stuff to do. And then I did it. If you just cut out those, like, just work when you can't work, if that makes sense. But then on the other hand, remember to rest. And this will bring me to my final point, well, final 2 points really, is if you're feeling tired and you need to rest, go to bed. Go to bed, come back, look at it later. If you are thinking, oh no, I'm too stressed, I cannot go to bed, there is no time for me to go to sleep. Go to sleep and set an alarm. 30 minutes, if that's all you can spare. Look after your body. Because you should know, it's not the end of the world. If you're in high school and you've got your exams, then high school finishes and you go out into the world, and trust me, this world is gonna be much different to what your teachers tell you, and your exams end up not mattering. If you're in uni, like, you can complete it to the best of your abilities, and whatever you get, even if you get worse than what you expect, you'll be able to do something with that. Like, that's the wonders of the world. There's so many opportunities. There are people who have gone to jail and come back and created great lives. There are people, like, no matter what your lowest low is, you're probably not at it if you're busy. But even if you are, that's the thing. There are so many people who've gotten through that and have things to do. So if you need time to rest and look after yourself, take that time to rest and look after yourself. So my last thing is, when you're super busy, you actually need to set out more time to rest. And this one is about my favorite time to rest when I'm busy, which is actually when I'm driving. So when I'm driving to work, when I'm driving from some other place, nighttime drives, just that moment of in between. So it's travel time, right? If you're on a train, when I used to train places, I used to love working on a train because I love to change up where I'm working. It just feels nice. But yeah, so travel time. Traveling is this time where you've got to yourself and there's nothing else you can really do about it. So I love using that time, putting on my favorite Spotify playlist, listening to a podcast, just relaxing and driving, like, not well, obviously keep your eye on the road, know where you're going, but just use the time when you're driving to just relax your mind and not think about the stresses you have of the day. If you have a shift, if you have work, sometimes when I'm really busy, I actually really enjoy going to work. Like, sometimes I have really long shifts at work, and that's problematic because in my mind it takes up too much of my time. But sometimes when I'm really busy, I enjoy a 4-hour shift at work or a 5-hour shift at work, because that's 5 hours where you don't have to think about, like, you're almost contracted to not think about the stresses. So if you have any times like that, use those times and comment about those times, because hey, getting to the end of the video. So I need to actually get to work now, and as I said, practice what I preach. When I'm busy, I do things at odd times, and at this time it was within the hour of getting ready. So thank you very much for watching this. Comment down below with where you are when you're busy, or anything really, and like this video and subscribe if you really want to. I'm not going to force you to. And yeah, awesome. Thank you. Have a lovely day. I will see you next week. I do have an interview lined up. I'm very excited about this person. Fergal is a fantastic person. You'll find out about him next week. Okay, alright. Bye!